4x4s. The Toyota RAV4, the Land Rover Freelander and the Kia Sorento, all vehicles that have earned their stripes in the 4x4 circuit. So where does that leave this? The Nissan X-Trail. Unlike its much more popular sister, the Nissan Qashqai, the X-Trail is fundamentally a 4x4, and you can tell that by just looking at it. It's got a much more rugged feel to it. But what's it actually like? Well, we've got some unadopted roads that haven't been used for around 40 years to really put this vehicle through its paces. From the outside, the X-Trail isn't too bad to look at, with Nissan's familiar front-end design and a typical body 4x4 shape. Although not strikingly head-turning, the X-Trail still has quite a stylish flair about it, and the styling continues in the interior with a well-laid-out dashboard. The first thing that struck me about the X-Trail's interior is the lack of sophistication, but that said, this is a no-nonsense 4x4, so you don't want poncy things like ambient lighting. This is the N-Tech Plus variant of the trim levels available, so we're mid-level, and we've got things like satellite navigation, we've got a bird's-eye view camera for assistance with parking, we've got the ever-useful MP3 compatibility, we've got a very nice panoramic sunroof and cruise control. And the one thing to draw from all this equipment that's in this N-Tech Plus variant is how comfortable the car is. I did a 400-mile round trip yesterday using quite a lot of motorways, and I must say it's an incredibly comfortable car to be in. Not only is the ride height ideal because you're quite high and there's very few blind spots around the cabin, but it's a very comfortable car to drive. These seats, although they are fabric and not leather, are very comfortable. Top of the range features like the Tecna trim include heated leather seats, titanium effect inserts, and a range of driver assist features such as satellite navigation and rear parking cameras. So a very comfortable car to be in. Combined with the car's 4x4 capabilities, it's a great all-rounder. So let's take a little look at the all-important practicality. I was a little bit disappointed with the amount of leg and headroom that's available in this X-Trail because it is such a big car. That said, I am quite tall, so if you are looking to transport your kids in the back of this, then you shouldn't have a problem. But if it is a workhorse for commercial use, then I'd be a little bit worried about my hairstyle when I get out after a 4-hour drive in the back of the X-Trail. All of that said, these seats are again very comfortable, representative of the front, and I can't go without mentioning this incredibly funky cup holder. So let's move on to the boot. Although not as big as its Land Rover Freelander competitor, the X-Trail still got a really big boot. Once you get this really heavy, large tailgate open, it reveals this very fair-sized boot with a very intelligent storage system. Got a tray that you can just pull out, which yesterday when I was going to visit my accountant, I literally filled up with receipts and handed over when I arrived. Very, very useful indeed. There's also a very large storage space here that's quite deep, so it prevents things from rolling around in the back of the boot, which is very, very useful. It's also worth noting the materials used. It's a very tough plastic that can be wiped down incredibly easy, so when you are filming in a forest off-road with a lot of gear, it's very, very easy to clean once you get back to the office. One thing that can be a little bit frustrating though is the fact that if you want to fold the rear passenger seats down, you have to flip the base of the rear seats and detach the head restraints just to get them to fold flat. The 2-litre diesel offered on the X-Trail comes in both 148 brake horsepower and 171 brake horsepower variants. These aren't massive performance figures, but they serve the X-Trail well. It is also worth noting that the 148 brake horsepower unit is matched with an automatic gearbox, which delivers more ease when driving and actually delivers a lower miles per gallon figure than the 171 brake horsepower model. Let's see what the X-Trail can do on the road. Its diesel engine goes hand in hand with the car's 4x4 system, which comes as standard in every single X-Trail. The X-Trail handles this rugged terrain with ease, and with the automatic 4x4 mode, the car will automatically know when 4x4 is best to be activated. Overall, the ride's quite good in the X-Trail, with good responsive steering, good suspension and good body control, which puts the car in good light standing next to some of its competitors such as the VW Tiguan. When it comes to owning a Nissan X-Trail, be prepared to pay quite a hefty amount on running costs, as I imagine you probably will be anyway, seeing as though it's a 4x4. In terms of long-term ownership, the X-Trail should retain fairly good residual values, as the Nissan brand has a good reputation for reliability. In terms of emissions and economy, the X-Trail emits around 160 grams per kilometre of CO2 emissions and retains around 40 miles per gallon, which isn't great, but compared to 4x4 competition, it's pretty strong. Although it isn't as refined as some of the 4x4 greats like the Land Rover Freelander, the X-Trail still has quite a lot on offer. However, with a price tag of nearly £26,000, you may want to weigh up all of the 4x4 options before you commit. Unlike some SUVs, the Nissan X-Trail seems to handle itself pretty well in all of the different categories, from practicality right the way through to performance. And although it isn't overly extravagant in any of these categories, it still manages to hold its own. For this reason, Motor Talk gives the X-Trail an overall rating of 3.5 stars.